Hello, I'm Elizabeth Conley from Interview Skills Clinic. Now in this video, I want to talk to you about interview anxiety because it holds back so many people from succeeding at interviews. Now this week is actually part 2, so if you haven't watched the first video, then it may be worth going back and having a look at that. We looked at really what turns natural nervousness into more severe interview anxiety. Now, as you're watching the video, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel, and you'll get notified when we publish new videos to help you get a job. Now, last week, I talked about why it's important to spend some time identifying your own strengths before you go into an interview and really feeling more comfortable about being yourself in an interview. Both these techniques will make you feel more confident and will help to reduce some of the anxiety. But what I want to talk to you about today is some other techniques that we work with our clients on, which is going to help you manage your anxiety. Now, of course, preparation is key. You know the saying, if you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. Of course, use the job specification. It's there to help you to gain an understanding of the behaviours and the skills required, and make sure that you go into the interview with some examples to talk about. But actually, most important of all, don't over-prepare. I think this is one of the main reasons that people suffer from interview anxiety. Do not attempt to rote learn examples or answers. Nervousness, in my experience, stems from people attempting to recite their answers word for word. Now, actually, this is an impossible task to do naturally, and it's inevitably going to increase interview stress, and it can result in freezing up in the interview. Because as you answer a question or trying to answer a question, your brain, the question is different to what you predicted, and your brain finds it impossible to bring back the written example that you have prepared or learned and adapt it on the spot to the question that you've asked. So, if you go into an interview and they start by saying to me, tell me a little bit about your story and your career so far, it's a very different question to tell me why you've applied for this role and the challenges it will bring. So preparing flexibly is key. During preparation, don't write out your examples or your answers in full sentences. I know it's really tempting to do. Instead, use mind map techniques or bullet points and practice speaking about each experience in relation to different competencies or values. Now, at Interview Skills Clinic, we use a range of different preparation techniques depending on whether you're an analytical or visual thinker, but you'll know what works best for you. Practice delivering your answers aloud. Exercising your voice and hearing your voice before an interview can help lower anxiety and help you to be yourself. So often people prepare by thinking in their head, and it all sounds perfect, but when we start to speak, it starts to unravel. So practicing aloud is very important. However, this doesn't mean that you should learn your answers, because so often people think, if I need to practice aloud, I must learn my answers. Or they start practicing the same examples time and time and time again in exactly the same way until they've learned their answers. This is not the right way to prepare. Talk about your key points in a conversational style. Tell it differently each time. Just make sure that you're familiar with your examples and less reliant on your notes. People use very different words when we're writing something out to when we're speaking. So when we speak, we're not grammatical. We say things, we might repeat ourselves. All of this is actually fine. It's about actually coming over naturally in a conversational style. Now, some of these techniques, all of them, which ones work best for you, will very quickly break the negative cycle of rejection. Don't wait until you've had 20 failed interviews before seeking help if these techniques are not working for you. All right. In our experience, most people only see us for maybe 2 to 3 sessions before they turn around this negative cycle. At some point, Everybody's going to be rejected from an interview, so don't expect perfection. I mean, many high achievers suffer, I think, from additional stress because they're striving for perfection. None of us are perfect. If you're not happy with how you're answering a question, remember, you can start again. Interviews are a conversation. They're not an exam. Putting pressure on yourself to achieve perfection is actually really unrealistic and it's unhelpful. So often there is not a perfect answer. If I said to you, do you agree with the saying that if it doesn't kill you, it can only make you stronger? If I had 10 candidates, they're all going to answer that question differently. And there isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer. Okay, the hiring manager is only going to employ you if they feel that they're meeting the real you. Because otherwise, how do they know how well you're going to fit within the team? Lastly, but not least, get a good night's sleep before the interview. Most people work too late into the night preparing for an interview, and many of the car crash interviews I hear about have actually followed a poor night's sleep or going to an interview with jet lag. Of course, don't leave small matters until the last moment. This is really easy to do if you're very busy at work. Of course, decide on what you're going to wear, plan your route to the office or where the interview is being held, test your webcam, make sure everything's working. Spending the final minutes rushing around is not going to put you in the best frame of mind. I think sometimes it can actually help to tell the hiring manager that you're feeling very nervous. It's not something to feel ashamed of. It's not a reflection of your ability to do the job. If you can feel your voice croaking, then, you can say something like, this interview is more important, or this interview is very important to me. I can feel I'm a little bit nervous today. And often just saying that can help dilute the anxiety. And, hiring managers, they've all been there. Let me tell you, we do a lot of work with people who come from HR, but also at senior management level. And they are just as nervous as you are when they go to an interview. So people have a lot of empathy and want you to relax. They want you to perform at your best so that they can choose the best candidate. Hope some of these techniques work. If you would like coaching, you can, of course, go to our website, interviewskillsclinic.co.uk, and you can book a free consultation to have a chat to see how we can help.